This episode of Living the Dram is brought to you by the Doof Bars, providing safe, fun, affordable and responsible travel to music festivals around Australia. Do you love festivals but hate driving? As you said, Mick. Of course you do. You're not an idiot.
Of course you do.
The Doof Bus has safely been carrying people interstate for 5 years, and it's much, much more than just a coach journey. The Doof Bus is an environmentally friendly alternative to driving, and they're committed to reducing the carbon footprint of festivals. The Doof Bus offers you an experience you'll never forget. You're bound to make new friends for life, travelling with a bunch of awesome, like-minded doofers. Rather than spending $100 plus, probably $200
At least.
on petrol, driving hours to somewhere in remote New South Wales or even interstate, then being herded like a domestic animal into a holding pen while you wait more hours to get in, you'll be catching a coach with a professional driver, so you can sit back, relax, or get psyched with the other passengers. And there's no fretting about getting pulled over by the cops. There's storage space too, so you don't need to worry about you stuffing your car to the brim. The party keeps going once you arrive. You'll have a chance to pitch a tent at the designated Doof Bus camping area, where the team will provide a kick-ass camp and keep the good times rolling. The 2019-2020 summer will see the Doof Bus heading to the postponed Subsonic, Rainbow Serpent Regen, and Rabbits Eat Lettuce. Single doof return trips cost from $100, but if you're multi-doofing this year, you can book multiple trips and save cash. For every additional trip you book, you'll save another $30. Be part of the solution, people. Check out www.doofbus.com.au for more info. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode of the podcast is also brought to you by Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport. Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport offers individual pet cremations on the Central Coast. They aim to ease the grief associated with losing a beloved pet by providing a compassionate and respectful service. Rupert's fully trained and caring team will look after everything, from collection to return of your pet's ashes within 4 business days. They have a range of urns to choose from, and you can personalise the plaque with your own inscription. Furthermore, each cremation package comes with a free memorial box with a range of keepsakes. You can also customise your package by adding a famed paw print mould and or garden memorial stone. More information is available at www.rpct.com.au. Mention the Living the Dram podcast for a free paw print mould with your cremation package. Conditions apply. Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport, they treat your pet like their own.
I'm excited, Hursty.
You should be, Rickus.
I'm very, very excited.
You should be. I'm excited. Firstly, welcome back.
Welcome back,
to
people.
Living the Dram.
Beautiful listeners.
I hope you've all been living the dram. We have been.
Damn straight. It's been a good. Actually, we've been a bit slack. We've taken February off. Not that you'd notice.
No, you wouldn't notice.
We still try to keep the releases pretty consistent, but it's a beautiful time of year. Lovely sunny Sydney.
There was a lot of gigs to go to.
There was. Geez, that has been marvellous, hasn't it?
Epic.
The past fortnight or so has been.
Yeah, I believe the word is epic.
Epic, yeah.
Because they were epic gigs too.
That we'll start with Tool. You've heard how much we beat off about Tool.
And wasn't that everything you expected it to be and more?
Getting fortunate enough to go to both nights and seated the first night, standing the second night, seeing it from 2 different perspectives. Something else. That was one of the most spectacular light shows I've ever seen. Yeah,
I envy the fact that you got to see it from the 2 different perspectives, being on the floor both nights. While it was slightly, right of front of house and left of front of house, was 2 slightly different perspectives. But I think it would have looked really amazing from the seats as well.
Well, I didn't realise until the second night how low the stage was.
Yeah,
it was quite low, so it was really nice to be able to see everything quite cleanly the first night.
But gee, what a couple of sets. I mean, and to be honest, I feel very privileged for the fact that they played Tempest for the first time ever.
Anywhere, world premiere.
They treat Sydney well when they come here, and I for one appreciate that certainly. Yeah. That was mammoth. That really was mammoth.
And what was the other one? Oh, Between the Bird and Me we caught together. Jeez, that was performance-wise, I would say they outplayed Tool by far, but that
was a flawless set.
Yeah,
And,
they are an amazing, absolutely an
set.
amazing band.
What a set! I mean, that covered the full 20 years that they've been around.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to believe,
and it was a
20 years.
progression set too.
Yeah,
like, it went, it brought us all the way up to their most recent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They are just consummate professionals.
Mm-hmm.
They did, and in such an intimate venue as well.
Yeah, that was good to the factory. That was really, really nice.
Yeah, man, that was stellar.
Well, that's where cattle decapitation was as well. I got to catch that a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, that's right.
God, they're so solid, amazing. Who was? No, I was getting mixed up between the Buried in Me support band, the Omnific.
They were fantastic.
Wasn't
Shout
that
out to a great local Aussie band. I don't know how local they are, but an Aussie band for sure.
Yeah.
2 bass players.
Yeah, 2 bass players and a drummer.
And ripping bass players too.
And I think my only advice, do away with your backing track. Get a 3rd bass player to play the backing track.
Get a 3rd bass player. Why not be a bass trio? But damn, that's great to see some Aussie talent supporting a fantastic overseas band.
And I love the fact that between the Buried in Me crowd is the sort of crowd that would be accepting to a support band.
Oh hell yeah!
And they blew away everybody that was there to see it.
Yeah, yep.
I'm glad they had such a good crowd. Actually,
kick-ass job, kick-ass job.
Yeah. And what else? I feel like I'm missing one. Oh no, it was Ginger last night. That's right.
Yeah, you're fresh off one.
Yeah, little dusty. They were mint as well. Absolutely flawless.
And I've got to give a shout out to Parov Stella Band.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to that.
Yeah, I couldn't make cattle decapitation.
Kind of stark contrast to everything else that we've
huge.
we've mentioned.
We've seen some pretty intense metal bands in the last couple of weeks, but Parov Stella Band were just full. I love a horn section.
Yeah, for sure.
I love a horn and a shit hot horn section as well. Those guys were just so into it. The energy level was so high. I mean, even if they didn't have vocalists, it still would have been a kick-ass show. And then they had 2 quality vocalists.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought, okay.
No, yeah.
The performances that I watched
full band.
was just one vocalist.
No, there's a male and female vocalist.
Female, okay.
And
actually, the performance that I watched, the male came out for the encore.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
No, they traded off, did a couple of songs together.
Nice.
Shit hot.
Yeah, wicked.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
so it's been a real good couple of weeks, man.
Newly introduced to them. I dig their style. It's good fun. Like that, what'd you call it? Sort of what's the word that I'm looking for? Like revival, like kind of swing revival with electro. With
kind of
like electronic with techno underneath, kind of. I guess.
I think they're kind of what I think they call the genre electro swing.
Okay.
But yes, horn heavy.
So yeah, that old timey piano sound and the lo-fi vocal kind of sound is
sick.
Dig it.
That was, I mean, I'm not much of a dancer. My form of dancing is usually standing in the one spot and moving my head. But
mine's usually air drumming.
Dude, I was, people got to see my moves, and I wouldn't say they were impressed, but Jesus, they got to see them.
Lovely.
It was good fun. And that brings us to,
the task at hand.
To here and now, where to comment on your original comment, you should be excited. We're in fucking Islay, baby.
Of course, you know us. We couldn't stay away.
Fuck no.
We couldn't stay away at all.
And and we're going Pete heavy. Pete heavy.
Big time.
There's no subtlety here. There will be some form of subtlety, but this is Pete in your face, baby.
Mm-hmm. This is what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
One of our favourites, Ardbeg.
And if I remember correctly, this might be the Islay that got you into Islay. Was it a bottle of this that you bought at that whiskey show that started you down that track? Or no, was it the stand was that one of the
by
final
the end?
Stands
actually, that was one of the final stands. But by the end of it, I was well and truly peated.
Yeah,
I was
peated as fuck.
I still remember they had the diffuser in the big bottle of Ardbeg, so it had like the Ardbeg scented like smoke or like steam, like a haze just pouring out. I remember just just inhaling it.
Yeah.
And actually, trying to smoke it, trying to breathe out Ardbeg vapor. That was glorious. It was glorious. I can't remember what we even tried. It was probably just the 10. I think it was. Did we get to try the Perpetuum? Maybe.
No, I can't remember. I remember there was definitely the 10. We might have tried something else, but yeah. Well, I love the 10, but the 10 is not on the cards today.
No. We decided to steer clear of the flagship.
Yep.
And go for the other. What do you call it?
Would you call it core?
Yeah, core range. That's what I'm looking for. The core range, 3 NASs. That's a no age statement to the unprivy. So we're going to start in the order that they were basically introduced to the core. Straight off the top, we've got the Uigedail.
Uigedail.
And we'll follow that up with the Corryvreckan.
Corryvreckan.
I don't know why I say it in an Irish accent. It just sounds better.
Well, Scottish, surely. Or are you intentionally doing it in an Irish accent? I mean,
to me, it sounds like Pippin from Lord of the Rings. Billy Boyd. He's Irish. Corryvreckan.
Yeah, fair enough.
Corryvreckan. Actually, there's not too much difference, I don't think.
Anytime I actually try to do any Scottish accent, it's probably more, partially Irish than anything else, and vice versa. I'm easily confused, though.
Okay.
Easily confused.
And we're going to round that off with the newest addition, the An Oa.
An Oa.
Which is something neither of us have ever tried.
Correct.
Purchased basically exclusively for this podcast.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am excited.
Yeah.
Call me Big Kev because I am excited.
Well, okay, Big Kev. Why don't you give us a bit of a rundown on the illustrious history of this really well marketed Islay distillery? Well, their marketing team does a fantastic job with their releases.
I love how playful they are. If you're a committee member, they're very, very playful with their advertising and marketing. And I like it. I think in that true sort of, it's not quite black humor, but it's loosely self-deprecating in ways. They're very, very playful. So the name Ardbeg comes from the Gaelic word, basically Ardbeg, which means small hill. And I think in Scottish Gaelic, it's an Ardbeg, which means the small promontory. And the whiskies of Ardbeg, usually heavily peated. Compared to other Islay malts, though, they don't really focus on the sea and salty, like the maritime kind of quality. They're sort of more into the aromas and spices and the malt and the sweet tones. So Ardbeg lies in a solitary. Ardbeg lies solitary in a small cove off the south coast of Islay, Islay. I'm going to just kind of reboot. Ardbeg lies solitary.
Ripcord.
Ardbeg lies solitary in a small cove off the south of Islay. It was once the stage for illegal distillation when smugglers took advantage of the remote location of the Kildalton coast and its exceptional conditions for producing malt whiskey. Eventually, though, all good things must come to an end, and the excise men seized the original illegitimate buildings from the smugglers and destroyed most of them.
Yeah, bastards.
The man, always trying to keep you down.
Always.
And it wasn't until 1815 that a legal distillery was established and founded by John McDougall. They sit pretty close near Lefroy Lagavulin to, you would call Leviathan distilleries, I think.
Yeah, I would. I certainly would.
By Scotch standards. Ardbeg has always produced a pretty sought-after single malt, even though its scale is less than half of that of its neighbours. In the early years, the sales of Ardbeg were running great. In 1835, they didn't have to raise production to meet the high demand. A few years later, in 1838, the distillery became insolvent, though, and was bought for £1,800, which is about the equivalent of £200,000 today, or just under 400,000 Australian dollars.
You'd still pick that up in a heartbeat, though.
That's an amazing purchase. Yeah. Less than a house. Yeah. That's unreal. By a spirit dealer from Glasgow named Thomas Buchanan, and he now owned the distillery, but it was still run by John's son Alexander McDougall. After the death of Alexander, though, the first women in history became distillery managers / distillers.
The first women in history? I doubt they're the first women in history.
Sorry, the first women in history, to become distillers and managers, distillery managers, were the sisters of Alexander, Margaret and Flora. And they ran the distillery together with a gent by the name of Colin Hay, not of Men at Work fame.
I was going to say.
Yeah, you're a couple of 100 years too early.
Yeah.
Actually, closer to 100 years too early. In 1853, he became the owner of the distillery and ran the business with his son, who later followed his footsteps. 1887, Ardbeg is producing just over 1 million litres per year, making it the most productive distillery on Islay at the time.
Nice.
And in 1911, Ardbeg is registered as a trademark, along with the distinctive Celtic style A.
I got to say, it's one of my favourite whiskey logos. The Ardbeg logo.
It'd be the most likely to be tattooed to my body.
Yeah, like it's
quite decorative.
Yeah, it really is, but it's also functional. I mean, both of us coming from a design background, there's a lot about logos that it's easy to get shitty with them. But yeah, I'm a big fan of their logo, man. I really am.
Yeah.
It's top notch.
Yeah, that's just another testament to the marketing team.
Yep.
In 1922, the distillery was bought by the McDougall family again for £19,000, which is, I think that's more in line with what it's worth. That's about $1 million British pounds today, or just over 2 million Australian dollars.
Yeah, you'd still go to the bank if you had the opportunity. You'd still go to the bank and go, "Hey, this is give me $2 million."
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Especially if it had stock.
Yeah.
If it had whiskey aged in the barrels,
that's a solid investment. That's sound.
I've heard you mention before. Yeah, building a distillery. A risky prospect. A lot of them don't make it. But buying a distillery that someone's already put blood, sweat, and tears into, in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat.
Especially if they're not doing a terribly great job of running it, and you get it for a good price.
That's it. If they're not running it well, but they've still got stock. Geez, the things you could do with a distillery that's in production and has stock aging. Whoa.
So after chewing through a few managers, unfortunately, they went bankrupt in 1932. It was closed. Oh, there was
It's a common fucking theme, isn't it?
At the time, though, I think it's...
But it's a common theme with every distillery we've explored. All of them have fallen silent at one point or another.
Yeah, if the Patterson crash didn't fuck them, then the Depression basically did.
Yeah, well, then World War One or World War Two.
Yeah. After the Depression, though, the distillery was run by the McDougall family until 1959, when Ardbeg Distillery Limited was founded. Then it was taken over in 1977 by Hiram Walker, who's an American. I believe he's responsible for Canadian Club.
Yeah, cool.
Production dwindled to nothing, though, and the distillery closed from 1981 to 1989, resulting in the loss of 18 jobs and had a devastating effect on the local community and economy.
This is 1981?
Yeah,
wow, that's really recently. Well,
it is.
I mean, it's not that, but you would expect...
Well, it's in our lifetime. The reopening began slowly as the distillery only distilled for 2 months a year to satisfy the demand from Ardbeg. To satisfy the demand for Ardbeg from blenders under the flag of Allied Lions, who acquired Hiram Walker and therefore Ardbeg in 1987. After a second closure in 1991, super recently.
Yeah.
The Glenmorangie PLC bought Ardbeg and reopened the distillery in 1997, and that was when full-time production recommenced. The first bottlings comprising the 17-year-old 1978 vintage and Ardbeg Provenance. The brand is launched with a new design, and that's the design that we see today. In 1998, it was voted Distillery of the Year by a leading American spirits publication, Malt Advocate, and the distillery gets its own visitor centre, the Old Kiln Cafe.
I'm such a big fan of visitor centres.
Yep. I cannot wait.
Yep.
Cannot wait. 50th birthday, here I go.
Hell yes.
By 99, production's up to 600,000 litres a year, thanks to investing in some new people and new equipment. Plus, as committee members would know, a lot of Ardbeg single casks are hand-selected and released in very limited exclusive bottlings. In 2000, the flagship 10 is launched, and the Worldwide Ardbeg Committee is formed to ensure the doors of the distillery never close again.
And they really shouldn't.
They
really
sincerely
shouldn't.
hope they don't.
Yep. Because that's a hell of a whiskey,
be a
that
sad
10-year-old.
day. Although it will put the value of a few of my collectibles sky high.
Yeah,
But that's
still and all.
No,
yeah.
I'd rather...
That's very selfish of you, Rick.
It is.
It's very fucking selfish of you.
Well, who knows? I maybe could afford to buy the distillery.
It goes up high enough that you can afford to buy the distillery.
Buy it for a song.
All right, done. I'm in. How do we make it happen? I'm sorry, Ardbeg. I'm not serious.
Yeah. In 2002, Jackie Thompson is awarded Visitor Centre Manager of the Year by Whisky Magazine. And in the same year, the distillery is named as a 4-star visitor attraction by the Scottish Tourist Board. 2003 sees the release of the Uigedail, plus the first Glenmorangie Company distillate is released to the committee for discussion.
Lovely.
Which is a limited bottle of very young Ardbeg.
I think that's what they called it. Very young, wasn't it?
Yeah. That is proper noun. In 2004, the Moet Hennessy Company acquires Glenmorangie, and therefore Ardbeg belongs to Moet Hennessy now. Please, someone tell me that I'm wrong and tell me that it's pronounced Moe, and I will tell you exactly why you're wrong. Moet Hennessy is also it's known as LVMH, Louis Vuitton.
I can't let that slide. Tell me why it's wrong. I don't fucking know, but
because it's not,
you hear everyone say Moe though.
No, because it's not French.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Well, look, I'm clearly you've done your research, right? I'm not fucking. I'm certainly not, casting aspersions on the quality.
If it was
of
French,
research.
it would be. If it was French, it would be Moe.
Well, and I
French.
think that's why everyone says Moe, isn't it?
Yeah, because they assume that it's French, but it's
Now,
not.
So hang on. So it's Moet Hennessy.
Yep.
As a separate entity to Moe Chandon. Or is Moe Chandon
no, it's a product. That's a product.
Right, but that's Moe, right? Because it's French champagne.
No, that's Moet.
No, it's still Moet.
Yeah.
And why does everyone fucking call it Moe?
Because they assume that it's French, I guess.
But isn't Chandon French?
No, I believe they're both Belgian.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm coming from a position of complete and utter ignorance here. I'm merely asking questions just because I don't know the answers. But you seem confident, so I'm gonna back you.
I'll argue this every day of the week.
Yeah, Moet. Next time someone says you want a bottle of Moe, I'm going to say no. I'd like a bottle of Moet.
Exactly. Do you really want a bottle of Moet anyway?
No, I don't. I don't drink bubbles. But
No, I'm not much of a fan.
If someone
either.
gives me a bottle of Moe, which has happened in the past, someone's gifted me a bottle of champagne a couple of times, and I'm going, oh, Moe. Next time I'll say, ooh, Moet.
Thank you. I love this little tidbit. In 2005, someone pulled the wrong lever and mixed Ardbeg with a small quantity of Glenmorangie. But disaster is averted with the unbranded release of Serendipity.
Serendipity. Yeah. That's just lovely, tongue in cheek. Yeah, beautiful. Another tip of the hat to the marketing people over there at Ardbeg.
The fuck is that noise?
I have no fucking idea. I've been wondering what that noise is for a while. I think that's the noise. Where were we?
Let's pick that back up. In 2007, Mickey Heads took the reins, becoming manager and chairman of the committee. And in 2008, the 10-year-old wins World Whisky of the Year in the Reverend Jim Murray's 2008 Whisky Bible. Also in that year, the Corryvreckan is released to the committee.
You do sound like a hobbit. That's great.
In 2009, Ardbeg Uigedail scoops the World Whisky of the Year, which is, the second time that Ardbeg has received such an accolade. And the Corryvreckan joins the core range on the worldwide release. In 2010, the Supernova, which was another limited run,
Sure was.
is awarded Scotch Whisky of the Year. And the Corryvreckan wins World's Best Single Malt Whisky and Single Malt of the Year. In 2011, I love this, and we'll talk more about it later, Ardbeg conducts the first whisky experiment in space on the ISS.
Brilliant.
AKA International Space Station. The following year, Ardbeg launched the Galileo to celebrate the ongoing and historic space experiment. 60,000 bottles sell out within 48 hours.
Yeah. Insane.
Insane. Marvelously insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
And after a mandatory 3 years in wood, the world's first whisky experiment in space touches down in Kazakhstan on the 12th of September 2014. In 2015, Ardbeg celebrated 200 years.
Wow.
It's just outstanding.
Time goes by so fast.
I wish it, unfortunately, it wasn't consistent, but that's neither here nor there.
And that's whiskey, isn't it?
It is. It seems to be the way that a lot of these joints go.
I think the only one we've done that has actually been continuous was Springbank, maybe?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah, I think so. My memory's poor, though.
But yeah, I'd have to revisit that as well. It doesn't help that we're getting half cut doing this.
True, but not yet.
Not yet. No, we're fresh.
No whiskey has touched my lips yet.
No, we're only 2 beers deep. Just a bit of lubrication, really.
That's it, yeah. Warm up.
So Dr. Bill Lumsden releases his white paper on the results of the space experiment, and we'll link to that in the show notes if you want to go and check out livingthedram.com.au.
And you should.
And that brings us to the summer of 2017, when Anoa becomes the first addition to the Ardbeg's core range in over a decade.
That's right.
And here we are.
And here we are, with them in front of us.
So we're going to start in the order that they were introduced to the core.
Because that's what makes sense.
It does. So, Uigedail, which is bottled at a whopping 54.2%. So I have a feeling I'm going to cut this pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's, it smells strong.
Yeah.
You know, it smells cask strength.
And that, I think we're desensitized to the peat. The peat's probably, anybody that walked into the room would be punched in the face.
Agreed. Whereas on first nose, the peat didn't belt me as much as I expected it to.
Mm-hmm. You can, because is it port or sherry? I think it's sherry, actually.
Yeah, it's sherry.
Actually, I'm positive it's 90% ex-bourbon, 10% ex-sherry.
There you go. Yeah, there are some sweet notes in it, but it's a few sweet notes. The wood comes through.
Yeah, the sweetness is the first thing that strikes me.
Yeah, as opposed to the peat. The peat's takes a back seat.
I was going to say exactly that, but I do wonder if it's just we've been desensitized just a little.
It's entirely possible. There's a bit of a sting to it. I have a feeling this will nose very differently with a few drops.
Yeah, yep, this will change totally.
Very differently.
I'm almost half tempted to check out the dilution calculator that we've linked to on livingthedram.com.au.
Handy fucking tool, that.
It is. Especially, you get some cask strength and you want to cut it to 48, 46, 44. you know exactly how much water to add.
Yeah, and look, don't get me wrong. There's a reason they release it at cask strength.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and I know several. I was going to say I know heaps, but I don't know enough people that drink whiskey in the same way that we do to say that I know heaps of people that enjoy at cask strength and don't cut down. I tend to be someone that enjoys a cask strength dram for the first few sips.
Exactly, yeah.
And then cut it. But it's also I very much enjoy introducing people to whiskey whenever I have someone over. Usually because it's the first thing that you see when you walk through my door.
It is. It's impressive. I'm still yet to post that to Instagram. I really should.
Yeah, it's just don't tell them where I live, otherwise people will come over and try and steal it. But it's one of the first things people see when they walk into my house, and I take great pleasure and joy in sharing my whiskey with people.
I love it, actually. I find myself just staring at it for ages, especially because we're usually sort of in the kitchen and it's just adjacent to the kitchen. You're having a conversation with you and just find myself lost in.
Yeah, there's some
glazing over.
There's some real nice bottles on that shelf these days, and every now and then, and I will often bring something down and try and choose a whiskey to the person that I'm either introducing it to or just liquoring up for the evening. But I rarely give a cask strength to someone that doesn't drink a lot of whiskey, because
this would be a poor place to start with someone that doesn't drink a lot of whiskey.
You're basically shutting the door.
You may as well hit them with a cricket bat.
Exactly. Yeah, you're better off just headbutting them. Just, hey, try this, bang. But yeah, that's got it.
And it's still even though they claim that they focus more on the spices and the aromas, it's hard to get away from that the maritime salinity and almost seaweedy kind of.
I think the fact that, sure, Lagavulin, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Lefroy, it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Bowmore, not so much.
Bowmore's a little bit more delicate.
Bowmore, you probably get a little bit more. You're right. It's refined peat and refined sea salt, but you can't get away from it. Nor should you. It's part of the character of Islay whiskey, and it's what makes it so different to a peated expression from anywhere else. Because anyone can do a peated expression. All they got to do is fucking do a peat malting.
That's it.
But it's the contrast. It's the uncompromisingness. It's the it's not brutality, but
that's on the verge of.
It's the fierceness. Like the sea is uncompromising. You don't tame the fucking sea. It influences you, not the other way around.
Yep.
And it should influence these malts because it's part of their character, and it's a big part of their character, and it's a big part of why I love Islay whiskey so much.
Yeah, I'm actually getting a little bit of, and this is going to sound bad, but it's not bad at all. It's kind of like cigarette ash. Which, would just be the smokiness, I guess.
Oh, that is massive.
But you get, nice sweet tang.
Oh, that is massive on the tongue. That is it's like a firecracker.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like lighting a firecracker in the mouth. It's a genuine explosion. Now,
geez, that's nice and thick too.
Yeah, there's a good robe on it. I could barely see it from my greasy bloody fingerprints on the glass.
The first thing I noticed was you do notice the sweetness until you swallow. Once you swallow, then you get that peat explosion, the pepperiness, and you can taste how potent it is at 54%.
100%. Like it's an uppercut to the mid-range of the tongue, the very center of the tongue for me.
Yeah. And that the heat, the peppery explosion, it dies pretty quick.
Yeah, it does.
It's got a really nice finish. It's short finish though.
Yes. Yep. Don't get me wrong. You've just had a mouthful.
Oh, you're left with.
It's not the finish.
It's like the peat is left on your breath, kind of. It's not so much on your tongue.
The peat and the pepper, but it's a really, really the faded. It's not the pepper itself. It's the remembrance of the pepper. that sticks around. There is other spice in there as well. Like I want to say cardamom, but I don't actually know what cardamom is. I think cardamom's just a word that I've heard that I associate with a nutty.
I was going to say there is a nutty aspect to this. Yeah, sort of cinnamon and nuts.
Yeah, like cardamom. Is cardamom related to aniseed? Like, are they in the same kind of family? There's something in the back of my mind that thinks they are, but I'm certainly not a spice expert. And it noses differently after you've had a sip too.
Yeah.
You know, the spices come through a little bit more. They're there. I think there is a touch of aniseed in there. It's not.
I'll agree.
Yeah, it's very, very faint.
It is.
I think cardamom might actually. I think I might have stumbled onto the right spice.
Okay.
But I'll have to come back to that because I need to now go and find some fucking cardamom. See whether I'm right or not. But I could be making it up, kids. I could be making it up.
But that's beautiful. It's remarkably smooth for a no age statement at 54%.
And it's massive, but it is certainly not offensive in any way. Like the massiveness, it fits. You know.
Yep, that goes down a treat. Now I'm getting more sweetness now that the senses have died down a little bit. It's quite warm in the belly, but a lot of sweetness on the tongue.
It's quite warm in the back of the throat.
Okay, I must be having a good day. I'm not copping that.
Okay.
Like
that's where it starts.
Okay.
It's not a burn. Don't get me wrong. It is a genuine warmth. It's fiery. I think that's the cask strength of it. It's the fire, but that is exceptionally smooth for something that is no age. It does glow.
It's just getting sweeter and sweeter.
It really
actually
does glow. Yeah, the sweetness.
That's beautiful. That's a really nice touch of the sherry. Just that 10% sherry.
Yeah,
that's all it needs. It's such a perfect blend.
There's a little raisiness to it, but it's not. You know how. I'm so aware of that now. With heavily sherried malts, there's a lot of that fruit cake to it.
Yeah.
There's not that here.
Yeah.
It's refined. There's some sweetness. There's some raisiness to it, but there's none of the extra fruit. There's none of the treacliness of a lot of ex-sherry.
No, it's quite a gentle sweetness.
It's delicious. It is. You completely understand why it's part of the core and why it is so well received.
I've just cut mine. I only added about 2 mils of water.
I noticed that.
To probably about 20 mils of whiskey. And that has softened it completely on the nose.
I'd like to say I'm keen to cut it to see what the difference is on the nose, but I also don't want to cut it because I'm really enjoying. I understand why.
I don't think it needs it.
No,
it doesn't really need it.
I understand why they bottled it at this.
It's remarkable that it's that strong.
I've said in previous episodes that with a cut it's better, and that they bottled it incorrectly. I mean, the hubris, the fucking hubris, right? Yeah, hand in the air.
The high on this guy.
Hand in the air. Poor form. But I completely understand in those cases. And look, I haven't added water yet, so who knows? Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Maybe I'll still go, oh no, they got it wrong. But I understand exactly why they bottled it at this strength. But I am interested in seeing what the difference is. I'm almost tempted to nose yours because it is cut.
Be my guest.
And then just keep drinking.
I found that it was only a little bit of water, really tiny bit.
Well, it does. It's softened it a lot, hasn't it?
It's softened it, but
and it's brought out different sweetnesses. It's brought out a bit of heather honey in it.
But now that it's really focused on the pepper and the spiciness dancing on my tongue, and it's lengthened the finish somehow.
Okay. Do you prefer it cut or uncut on the tongue?
It felt better before I cut it.
Yeah,
It tastes better now, but it felt better before.
That's remarkably smooth.
Yeah. I don't think if I could redo this, I wouldn't add the water.
Oh, now I don't think I'm going to.
I don't think you should, unless I haven't found the sweet spot yet. I'm going for more.
I suppose I should, though. In the interest of the podcast, I mean, this isn't just about me drinking fucking whiskey. Yeah. See, these are the sacrifices I'm prepared to make for you people. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. If I do, I'll probably do it on the 2nd. I'm torn. Based on your reaction, I feel that it'd be selfish of me not to. I suppose I should.
Yeah, have a go. You haven't got anything
glass,
to lose.
by the way. God, I love
that.
This
That was
glass.
a nice...
so good.
Can't remember why I got that. I think I just asked. I'm not sure what I bought from the shop, but I just asked, what does it take to get an Ardbeg glass? And he's like, I'll just give you one. Like, you are a beautiful human.
Good man. Real good man. The
And
amount of times...
then he also gave me the Ardbeg Day pin.
And is that a...
It was 2018.
So the grooves? Because it looks like the grooves...
It was to celebrate the grooves,
Yeah.
I think that may have been released in 2018 on Ardbeg Day.
It was, yeah.
Which, yeah, I'd got to try courtesy of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked up a couple of bottles of that. And I really liked it, to be honest.
Actually, that might have been what I purchased. It was either
much
Dram or Grooves that I purchased, and I asked him what it took to get a glass.
Nice. So much softer on the nose.
Yeah.
Much sweeter. Much sweeter.
It really brings out the sweetness, doesn't it?
The peat takes an even further back seat.
Yep.
Funnily enough. Not what I expect from an Ardbeg.
Actually, it's starting to get better the more water that I've added.
Yeah, see, now I've undercut. I only put a couple of drops in. It's really softened it on the nose. It is a little bit of the sherry notes morph and melt a little. I don't know why I said melt. It felt right. They've melted a little bit so that it's almost like a soft caramel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll pay that. That's nice. Oh, there we go. I've just added enough water to kill that pepper.
Now, I only added a couple of drops. The pepper, well, there's a little bit of spice on the finish. Mm-hmm. Much longer finish now.
Yes.
Much longer finish.
Amazing.
Much softer on the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mentioned the heat on the clavicle.
Mm-hmm.
Gone.
Okay, I see. I'm starting to get it in the...
See, for me, the warmth now starts here.
Okay.
But...
closer to the middle of the chest.
A touch of apricot
Oh, yeah, nice.
on the tongue. And the warmth spreads beautifully and evenly as well. It's like swallowing just, on a day, it's a clear day, you're in a kind of a study type room, curtains slightly drawn, shaft of sunlight coming through, hitting the desk, motes of dust floating through. You reach over to get something and you reach through that shaft of sunlight and that warmth hits the skin and just starts to spread gently. Yeah. That's how this feels, except on the inside.
Yeah, lovely. Lovely. It's got a nice bit of wood, actually, from... It was almost like fresh timber when, like, a house is being constructed. I absolutely love that smell.
Yeah, I love the smell of sawdust.
Yeah.
Freshly cut wood, sawdust on the ground.
So a few notes on Uigedail. It's named after a nearby loch, and they claim it's a perfect example of how sweet and savoury notes can work together. In 2009, as we said, Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible named Uigedail World Whiskey of the Year in praise of its, quote, utter silky brilliance and complexity on a level only a handful of distilleries in the world can even dream of reaching.
That I'll agree with, because it is, as much as I'm not able to really well express the complexity of the Dram, It is those sweet notes, and I've got nothing for
It
the
is
savoury.
sweet and savoury, yeah.
I don't, but I can't identify what the savoury is. Like when I think savoury, I think sausage roll. It's a ridiculous thing to think of, right? But it's so
I think savoury shapes for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
But only because they're flavoured.
So exactly. Savoury flavoured. They're literally called savoury.
Yeah.
But maybe some salted pastry.
Could they be called umami flavour?
Yeah, I suppose you could. But,
almost.
Like a pastry kind of thing, like a salted savoury pastry. There might be a bit of that in there.
There is a hint of the saltiness, isn't there? It's actually, with the water cut down, it's developed a somewhat medicinal quality.
There's a bit more of that lanolin in it.
Yeah,
a touch of that.
Like, it sounds derogatory, but it's closer to like the Dettol, the antiseptic kind of. That's the medicinal aspect of it's coming through, but not in a bad way.
I wonder if when you say that, that's what you mean when I say lanolin.
Quite possibly.
It is.
Quite possibly.
It is possible. I mean, not as in it is. That's what you're saying. Anyway, continue. You were giving us notes.
It's one of the few whiskies that have received the esteemed accolade of a San Francisco World Spirits Competition platinum medal.
And that's double gold.
3 years running.
3 years in a row. Yeah. That's fucking impressive.
That is. Which Loch Lomond is up for one this year. The Loch Lomond 12, which I reckon it deserves.
I agree.
Totally deserves it. But geez, this has won some awards.
Yes, it has.
So as we said, Liquid Gold Award in Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible 2014. World Whiskey of the Year 2009 in the Reverend's Bible again. Gold in the Scotch Single Malt Islay category 2014 International Wine and Spirits Competition. Silver Islay Single Malt No Age Statement 2014 World Whiskey Awards. Gold Single Malt to 12 years 2013 San Francisco. Gold Islay up to 12 years 2013 Scotch. You know what? I'm not. This is boring. It's good.
There's 5 more. Load of fucking awards.
It has chopped to the brim.
It has,
and I can see why this is
nice.
Fucking marvelous. But I'm gonna save that for later.
Yeah, same. I don't want to drink it all yet.
No.
I do that far too often.
So let's get on to the Corryvreckan, which is named after the famous sea vortex between the Isle of Jura and the Isle of Scarborough.
And just quietly, that's fucking cool.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's a whirlpool.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I don't dig so much is the actual design. I think that looks a little bit... I think it looks a little bit like a first-year design student, kind of. But that's just me.
Yeah, look, I see where you're coming from. It's... Yeah. Put it... For those listening... Actually, describe it for those listening.
It's basically the word Corryvreckan trailing off with another version of the word Corryvreckan that's sort of angled downwards and then twisted back on itself, trailing into the middle of just a simple spiral design.
So it's trying to
emulate
a whirlpool, as it were. Yeah,
but it's a good effort. But I think they could have done much, much better. That's my only gripe. But apparently the Corryvreckan is Europe's largest vortex.
Yeah, right.
Which is a nice claim. And this is bottled at cask strength. I think this is a whopping 57 something. Yeah, 57.1.
Ooh, yes.
So I think that's going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it's mind you, maybe I'm slightly desensitized by the fact that the Uigedail has already... but yeah, this actually...
Doesn't that have some nice sort of... Oh, the sweetness, like the toffee, the rib deep... Yeah, it is. It's toffee. It's very much toffee.
Yep. And it smells smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, way... I expected a punch in the face.
Slightly medicinal as well.
Yeah.
But in a different way.
Yeah, it's not...
Like
it's
a cough syrup.
Yes, it's instead of that lanolin kind of medicinal, it's more that sweet cough syrupy...
what's it? Probably... I imagine this is what
Like fake cherry?
Dayquil or NyQuil would
yeah.
taste like.
Yeah, like that fake cherry cough syrup kind of smell. Yeah.
Geez, it doesn't smell like 57%, does it?
It doesn't. It smells way smoother than I expected it to at 57%. And it doesn't smell like a Nas either.
No.
Neither of them really have. I mean,
No,
that was a punch in the face to Uigedail. This less so. This smells silky, you know?
Mm-hmm. I'm loving that deep toffee.
Yeah.
Almost chocolatey.
There's a hint
almost
of...
dark chocolate.
It's cacao, I think. There's a hint of cacao.
Yeah, good stuff.
And like a touch of cinnamon in there as well, because they go so fucking well together. There's something else in there too. Is it dates? Like a really rich, dark kind of dried fruit that's big and sweet. Like maybe a fig or a date, like a candied date.
Oh, wow. The sweetness on that is incredible. The chocolatiness. It's like a 60% cacao kind of.
Whoa.
That is remarkable.
That's fucking...
Dear God, I am so glad I bought a case of this.
How did they get that out of a fucking no-age statement?
Yeah.
That's amazingly smooth. Like, there is some spice there, but the spice is... Like, it's intense. It's dry chili. It's like a chili cacao mix. You know?
Yeah. Chili chocolate, yeah.
It's not a youthful pepper. It's an aged, dried, intentional spice.
That is delicious.
And at 57%.
That is.
That does not taste like it. There's no alcohol sting to it that I was expecting.
I'm not getting any warmth down the trachea or below.
No. The warmth. It's coming from the stomach as it hits it, and again, it's a glow. It's like a sunrise through the mist across the waters of a lake with a rocky promontory next to it, and surrounded by a bunch of good mates. You know, it's been a lovely evening, and you're watching that sunrise, that glow. It's just coming through the mist towards you, and it is a fucking good time to be alive.
This is something special.
Oh my dear God!
It's a nice like I'm getting all the burn for me. It's not even burn. It's just intense peppery. It's intense pepper in the mouth.
So I'm not getting that.
Okay.
I'm not getting any intense pepper. I'm getting a hint of, as I said, like, you know, dry chopped chili. But there was more pepper in the Uigedail for me. I mean, we've also had the benefit. These guys have all had some serious time to breathe. You know, but that pepper isn't there. It doesn't taste young to me. I know it is, but it doesn't.
It does not taste that way.
It doesn't taste it. It tastes like a well-aged whiskey. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure it's got a kick to it. I have a feeling that by the end of this podcast, we will be well on our way.
We'll lose her. That's for sure. Love the colour of everything from Islay. Like the paleness, it makes you sort of false sense of security, thinking that this is going to be a little bit tame. It doesn't look like it has too many terpenes in it. Speaking of terpenes, I think I want to get into the space whiskey.
Yeah, you should.
Whiskey
you get into that while
in
I just fucking...
space. I don't know if you remember the Muppets, the pigs in space. I'm going to put reverb on that.
You should. In fact, you should do a second take.
Whiskey in space. This is awesome. This is right up my alley.
Yeah, it is.
So Ardbeg, being the fun-loving, playful, and pioneering distillery that they are, partnered up with Nanoracks. That's funny. That sounds like Sounds like a chick with really tiny boobs.
Nanoracks.
They sent a vial of unmatured whiskey along with charred oak particles up to the ISS. And the experiment was designed to test how microgravity affects terpenes, which are the organic compounds responsible for giving whiskies their flavours. They're also found in several other foods and beverages.
And buds? I think they're in buds too.
Like weed?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be. They're fucking in everything. Organic compounds. They're in just about just about in everything.
The hesitation wasn't in the concept. It was like, how do I express it? Yeah.
Okay.
Buds.
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, especially like the dispensaries in
because
in the USA.
The breakdown is usually CBD, terpenes, and THC.
Yeah, exactly. So after arriving on the station, the whiskey samples exposed to the oak particles in a sealed container. They basically just had to crack them and stack them.
Was someone specially trained?
Probably
within that skill set to make sure they didn't fuck it up.
Probably,
because that would be an expensive fuck up. Oh damn, I did it wrong. Try again.
Jeez, wouldn't Ardbeg be pissed?
Fucking oath, they'd be pissed.
So it's left in a sealed container to mature over the course of a mandatory 3 years, because it's not whiskey until it's spent 3 years.
Correct.
And an identical experiment was carried out on Earth as a control, obviously.
As it should be.
Science, bitches.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
And it was, just to, test the difference in that the oak had on a 0G maturation process. So the control sample left Earth, they say, absorbed more flavour. Sorry, the control sample left on Earth, they believe, absorbed more flavour from the oak particles than the sample in orbit, which doesn't surprise me. Microgravity, it's not going to have constant contact with the wood, I imagine. It's floating and occasionally they'll meet. And Dr. Bill states, here we go, quotes, I'm tempted to put on a Scottish accent because I assume he's Scottish.
Fuck it, do it.
Ardbeg already has a complex character, but the results of our experiment show that there is potentially even more complexity that we can uncover to reveal a different side to the whiskey. Our findings may also one day have a significant implications for the whiskey industry as a whole. I'm pretty impressed with myself.
Fucking nice.
I do.
Nice.
One of my work colleagues is Scottish, and sometimes he's got a real thick accent. It might take you a few minutes to get into gear, and once you do, it's...
I was waiting for you to break, as I do, break at some point and just start heading into Irish territory, which is when I usually just rip cord, abort, but fucking, you killed that dude. Nice.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm sure there's, if anyone from Scotland...
they'll tell me to tell
probably sit there and go, what the fuck was that?
You fucking kid. So the most significant differences between the two samples were evident during the tasting process, of course, because what do you do with whiskey?
Yeah. I mean, how else do you fucking...
I've had several dams that I just pour out. Isn't this what you do?
Oh, gee. No, they feel the same to me pouring them. They look the same in the glass, and they have the same weight in the hand. Yeah, fuck, they're the same.
I'm done. Yeah, jeez, I'm done here.
Of course, you got to fucking taste them.
Yeah. So, according to the distillery notes, the earth-based sample was reminiscent of an aged Ardbeg style. Hints of cedar, sweet smoke, aged balsamic vinegar, raisins, treacle, coffee, toffee, vanilla, burnt oranges.
God damn, these people have so much better developed palates than we do.
I think it's the synapses, the connections between... I find it really hard. Give me anything, and I find like a spice. I could do a blind spice tasting, and I'd be woeful.
Yeah, right.
I'd get 15% of it right, probably. Yep. On the palate, that was just on the nose. On the palate, it's woody, balsamic flavours shone through, along with a distant fruitiness, some charcoal, antiseptic, which is the Dettol that I allude to. It's probably I don't know if Dettol would be a worldwide brand. Probably not.
Don't know.
Which leads to a long, lingering aftertaste, flavours of gentle smoke, tar, creamy fudge. You compare that to the ISS sample, its intense aroma had hints of antiseptic smoke, rubber, and smoked fish, along with the curious perfumed note, like violet or cassis. A powerful woody tone, leading to a meaty aroma. The taste was very, very focused, with smoked fruits, like prunes, raisins, sugared plums, cherries, earthy peat smoke, bit of peppermint, aniseed, cinnamon. We've mentioned a lot of these.
Yep.
And even smoked bacon or hickory smoked ham. And the aftertaste, or the finish, was intense and long, with hints of wood and the antiseptic lozenges and rubbery smoke. Which, the antiseptic lozenges and rubbery smoke doesn't sound terribly appealing.
It doesn't, but yeah.
But
now, did they know when they were tasting which one they were tasting?
Yeah, of course.
See, I would be more interested in seeing if they were just, given them both to taste, but not told which was the one from Earth and which one was the one from space.
Maybe they didn't have a big enough sample size to warrant a such an experiment.
Oh, you just when you give it to the taster, you go, right, taste this. Where's it from? Just fucking taste it.
Your master blender would, I reckon, they'd pick up that in an instant.
Yeah, that's fair.
Personally. So Ardbeg basically hoped the experiment will help with flavour research and aim to create different flavours with the help of microgravity.
Yeah, what I'd like to see is them now replicate that experiment, but dig a tunnel.
Oh, super gravity.
Deep underground.
Super gravity.
So that we get, super pressure and
Wouldn't
super gravity.
you-
Or just don't even dig a tunnel. Just fucking do it underwater, like the halfway down the Mariana Trench or something, where you've got real intense pressure and, I don't know if it'd be super
I
gravity.
don't know if it would.
Would it be super gravity? Or is gravity the same?
Gravity would be the same, it'd be the pressure. See, I don't know how well that would work, because the gravity would probably just collapse the barrel because of the pressure difference inside the barrel would be...
So how do you create more gravity?
We'll see. I was centrifugal force.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
All right.
so you just have to keep a barrel in a centrifuge for 3 years.
Do it.
Yeah,
surely it
not
can't cost that
impossible.
much.
It's not impossible.
Exactly.
Or you could send it to another planet with...
You know what I'd also really... Yeah, true. Sending it to another planet is going to be pretty fucking expensive, though.
Centrifugal force seems like the winner at the moment.
Yeah. So, I mean, sending it there, then you got to get the fucking thing back.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing I'd like to see, because it got me thinking, like, what if you... Because in zero gravity, you're not having constant contact.
You would assume that,
right?
It's not, yeah.
So, in a centrifugal force, you probably just get the outside layers in constant contact.
Yeah,
and the
so
inside
you would have
not.
to slowly rotate the barrel as well.
So you'd want centrifugal force and then, slow down and speed up and then slow down.
I would just have...
Or you could just have it on a vibrating fucking, centrifuge.
It's a good idea.
So your whole centrifuge, vibrates.
I think, too, if it's kind of like the orbit of the Earth around the Sun. The Earth spins on its axis, but it also rotates around the Sun. I think that's what you'd have to do with the barrel as well.
Yeah, you probably would.
Yeah.
Have it on a... Yeah, I'm sure they could build a machine to do that.
Easily.
That got me thinking about other kind of experiments we could do with whiskey. Like, I'd like to see a whiskey that had heavy metal played at it for the 3 years of its maturation versus a whiskey that had, God, I shudder to think of it, country music played at it for 3 years.
This?
Yeah, and then 3 years of...
Maybe we should message Dan.
Yeah, and then 3 years worth of fucking, like... psy-trance, and so you just do a whole range, and 3 years worth of fucking classical, even though classical is kind of I mean, it's very related to heavy metal, but it's like the opposite extreme in some respects.
Kind of is, yeah.
I just think that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's
see if the whiskey picks up. And I mean, it'd be difficult though, because for a control you'd need each barrel to be made out of the same tree. Yeah, otherwise it'd be picking up. I mean, it's difficult to...
It's hard,
But if you got barrels from the same batch of barrels,
well,
they're all charred the
if
same.
each stave was taken from a different tree...
And all of them were made from... So if you made all the barrels from the same 10 trees...
Exactly, yeah.
And they all had equal component parts.
Each stave, you'd have to weigh each stave, I guess. Jeez, it's,
I mean, look at
painstaking. Not impossible.
Not impossible.
Painstaking.
Yeah, very painstaking, probably expensive. All charred by the same dude on the same day with the same...
Well, the same machine. Don't they? A lot of machines char. I've seen that.
Yeah, but the same dude running the machine on the same day, having the same thing to eat. Like, you don't want him having fucking, a consistent diet. Like, if he starts his day with bacon and eggs, he fucking has bacon and eggs for the rest of the day. Because you can't start the day with bacon and eggs and then I'll have soup for lunch. Like, wow, I don't know, man. Are you going to be holding those controls in the same way? Like, we need to keep this as consistent as possible. Right. But, I'd like to see the results of that. I don't want to have to pay for it, but I'd be very interested in seeing the results. Yeah, I'd
be an avid spectator of this.
Yeah. But even if you'd wanted to do it on the cheap, just get, 5 different random barrels and still play music at them, and then we can wax lyrical about the results.
I personally, I'm a massive skeptic. I don't think it would do fuck all.
Oh, I'm not saying it would. I'd just be interested in... I just think we do a whole episode on the results.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
And I do reckon that if you... no, I don't think it'll make much of a difference.
No. And we know we're both obviously going to, if we know,
actually, I suppose
we're going to prefer the metal one anyway.
And the first thing you'd have to do is just have 2 barrels, one that you fucking played music to, whatever kind of music.
You could just play the radio,
choose metal. Yeah, I'd go... And then one that didn't have music played.
I'd say Triple J in a way, because the only thing they don't really touch on is like classical music, but they have the metal show, they play a lot of modern alternative pop. They
also play a lot of shit.
Yeah, but I think it has the broader spectrum of most radio stations in Australia.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's probably why it plays the most shit. Because, I mean, the majority of most genres is less than spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, I don't know, there's a term for it, but, how the cream always rises to the top, and the most of it is the medium that then allows it to be on top of.
Okay.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah. Well, this... I love this point, getting back to the whiskey in space. Not to be outdone, and in true Japanese fashion, somewhat reminiscent of the Ladder to Heaven episode of South Park. In 2015, a Japanese HTV cargo vehicle brought whiskey samples to the ISS from Suntory to test how microgravity affects the mellowing process. Nanorak's chief executive Jeffrey Manbar commented on the experiment to the BBC, saying it's hard to find companies willing to be pioneers. To have a partner like Ardbeg that is willing to make this sort of commitment augurs well for the future of commercial space research into flavourings and what it changes for consumer products in general. Ardbeg published a white paper with the results of the experiment, which obviously we'll link to in the show notes.
Yep.
And a vial of whiskey that once orbited the planet is now travelling the globe.
Oh, so it orbited the planet, now it's going to orbit the globe at ground level.
It is, yeah.
That's fucking cool. It's touches like that, Ardbeg. It's touches like that, I tip my hat to you, sir.
Yeah. Pioneers, mate. Pioneers.
Kick-ass job.
Yeah. Which made me rabbit hole pretty hard.
I'll bet you did.
Down, what other booze has made its way into space?
Nice.
So... I'll get through this pretty quick. On 20th July 1969, old mate Buzz Aldrin drank some wine when he took communion in the lunar module on Apollo 11.
No way. Fuck.
In the 70s, NASA's Charles Borland planned to send sherry with the astronauts visiting Skylab, but the idea was scrapped because the smell was found to induce a gag reflex in zero-gravity flight. And then now, alcohol is now prohibited on the space station due to the impact it can have on the environmental control and life support system. In 1985, NASA report on extended faceplate predicted that alcohol would be missed, but would only become common in stable settlements. I'm going to edit that out. That was bullshit. Russians. God bless Russians. The Russian state media, Russia Beyond, says drinking has been officially banned, but the first alcoholic drink sent into space by cosmonauts was a bottle of cognac to the Salyut 7 in 1971. Cosmonaut Igor Volk said they would lose weight and hide alcohol in their spacesuits or hide bottles inside book covers. Gregory Grechko discussed the difficulties of drinking in space as the liquid and air would mix to form a froth. Cosmonauts aboard Mir were allowed alcoholic drinks, including cognac, vodka, and ginseng liqueur, supposedly for health reasons.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking Russians,
Well,
man.
the Russian's got to have his vodka.
Yeah, yeah.
Straight up.
They'd probably die without it.
Exactly. Just like a Scotsman has to have his scotch.
Cosmonaut Alexander Polishuk said bottles of cognac would be hidden behind panels on Mir.
God, that's fantastic.
American astronauts on Mir watched while their Russian colleagues just got blotto. NASA tried to block the photos of a cognac party that was held on board Mir in '97.
Brilliant.
But James Oberg of NBC News obtained them via the Freedom of Information request. And in 2006, the ban on cosmonauts drinking on the ISS was proposed to be lifted, though champagne's regarded as too dangerous.
Well, it would be.
And crew care packages can't contain any alcohol whatsoever, like even in aftershave or mouthwash.
Yeah, okay.
In July 2007, following a scandal in which astronauts were alleged to have flown while drunk, NASA admitted that its rules around alcohol were a bit vague and introduced a new rule prohibiting astronauts from being under the influence and consuming alcohol within 12 hours of launch.
Fuck, you'd think that would have been one of the first fucking rules, hey?
Yeah.
Hey, boys, no drinking before launch.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Smoking weed's okay. 3D plastic printed whiskey glass was designed for spaceflight in 2015, and whiskey was sent to the ISS for 4 years to study its effect on its flavour, as we've just discussed.
There's several things wrong with that.
Plastic, yeah.
being the fucking
Exactly.
main one.
Yeah. Yeah, horseshit.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you do that?
Yeah, just send it up in glass.
I love this, though. Graduate student Kirsten Sterrett at the University of Colorado, God bless Colorado,
Yeah.
wrote a thesis on the fermentation in space with support from US beer behemoth Coors. She sent a miniature brewing kit into orbit aboard a space shuttle several years ago and produced a few sips of beer. She sampled the space brew, but because of the chemicals in and near it from her analysis, it didn't taste that great by the time it got back to her. But this is a good one. Local brewery, Four Pines in Manly. They teamed up with Sabre Aeronautics in mid-2010 after a few months of talking about sending beer in space. Thus, Vostok Space Beer was born, which is a stout. And I believe the goal is to make the stout, sounds odd, but I guess gases in the beer would be different at different altitudes.
Of course they would.
They just wanted a consistent taste. It should taste the same on Earth as it does. It should feel the same on Earth as it does up in orbit.
Well, you'd have to have a flat then, wouldn't you?
You'd assume so, but it's I've had it before. It's not too bad. It tastes super carbonated though. It's really, really fizzy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what I found, but it's not too bad. So in 2011, a selection of Four Pines staff jumped on board one of the Vomit Comets, the zero-G flights, and the first beer in history was served on a commercial zero-gravity flight. 2014, they jumped back on the Vomit Comet to test the beer with both male and female beer lovers, as well as trial out the new space bottle design, which allows intergalactic travellers to drink from a bottle as they would on Earth, rather than a squeeze bottle. In 2015, they finalised the bottle design, did some final testing of the beer, and bottled it. It's ready for commercial production. As I said, yeah, I've sampled it. It's not bad.
Yeah, right.
In 2017, I don't know how to say this, Anheuser-Busch.
They were telling the story.
Basically, the criminals behind Bud Light and Budweiser, amongst many other fermented atrocities. They plan to sponsor research on the ISS with the aim of serving beer on Mars. I think they're sort of getting a bit ahead of the game there.
I don't. I think that's that is probably something we need to be looking at the moment, especially with fucking coronavirus.
Jesus Christ. Have you stocked up on your toilet paper?
I got there too late. There ain't none.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Isn't it?
That is.
Isn't it fucking ridiculous?
What's wrapping yourself in toilet paper is going to protect you from coronavirus?
Dude, the amount of fuckers walking around with masks. Like,
yeah.
You know.
And that doesn't help. It keeps it in. Does stop it from getting in, but it keeps it in.
It's just...
So people that are infected should be wearing the mask.
Yeah. Not exactly.
Yeah.
That's... yeah. Boggles my fucking brain, man.
Yeah. I saw another beautiful... This is going to be a fair bit of meme speak, actually. someone asked Al Yankovic to do my Corona, and he's flat out, no, it's a cheap shot. And someone replied, "It's a shame. It'd probably go viral."
I had someone send me a screenshot from a Tinder profile for coronavirus.
Unreal.
Fucking brilliant. It's like, I've just got out of China, been travelling the world, bit of wanderlust. Yeah. I'm really keen to meet new people. Gloves and masks turn me off. If you're a doctor, swipe left. We should get together. Yeah, I'll leave you. I can't remember.
Was it? I think you showed me earlier. I'll leave you breathless and bedridden for weeks. That is fucking sensational.
I know, brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. And it made me think. Yeah, I wonder what kind of comment people would leave on the coronavirus Tinder profile.
Nice tie-in. Awesome. At least it's no false advertising there.
Exactly right. Yeah, straight up. I bet there's dudes that swiped right. Or
was it male or female? Then, or maybe it was. You can choose both, can't you? On that, you can choose.
It was non-binary. I think the kids say these days.
Cool. Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I reckon this Corryvreckan's potent enough to.
Oh, I think we're now immune between you and me.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, but I mean, this is actually my usual. People start getting sick. I just up my whiskey intake. And there's two reasons for that. The first is that I have this unreasonable and unfounded belief that the more whiskey I drink, the healthier I am. And the second thing is that...
Well, only fluids, the doctor said.
Exactly right. And the second thing is that even if that is not the case, I won't give a fuck. If I imbibe enough whiskey, it doesn't matter.
Mm. Well, another good thing about space, there is actually a giant cloud of alcohol in space.
As there should be. There literally should be everything in space.
Well, there's a lot of crazy molecular reactions going on out there. Look at our sun, for instance, this giant fusion machine. But it's in a region known as W3OH, which is
W3OH.
It's only a short walk, really, about 6,500 light years away.
Just round the corner.
Yeah, nice stroll, pretty leisurely bike ride. But unfortunately, it's methyl alcohol, so it's not suitable for drinking. But there is a proportion, a tiny little portion of the ethyl alcohol, but not nearly as common.
No doubt, by the time we're able to get there, someone will have built a converter.
I hope so.
Oh, done.
You could actually. That'd be Actually, 6,500 light. Fucking long way to go, but. You can refuel once you get there.
There you go. Yeah. You've just solved the problems of the space race.
Dude, I'd surprise myself sometimes. I don't think I want to add water to that. That is marvelous.
I keep revisiting, and I keep waiting for the point where I should fucking add water to it, and I keep reaching that point and going, nah, fuck it.
You know what? Like I said, man,
it's for the podcast, though, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got to.
Should. Again,
Jesus
these are the
Christ,
sacrifices.
That's so remarkable at 57% that this is going down as well as it does.
And the sacrifices we're willing to make for you people. I mean, really, do yourselves a favour, though. Go and get a bottle. Don't just trust us.
This is special.
Go and get yourselves a bottle of this.
Especially if you're an Islay fan. This is uncanny.
It really is. Ooh, very different on the nose. Sharper. I didn't expect that, but it's sharper. It's less well-rounded on the nose.
I still don't think we found that sweet spot yet.
I think the sweet spot's the fucking, the way they bottled it.
Yeah.
Just between you and me. I think there's a reason that they've bottled it at that. It's exceptional. Straight up.
I can't say that's benefited at all.
No. No, it's gotten a bit spicier, a little bit pepperier.
Yeah, I'd say the peppers now it's more prominent on the palate.
Yeah, so it's moved from being deliberate chili chocolate to that white pepper of youth that wasn't there before.
Oh, nice little tidbit. They describe the vortex as a thunderous, seething cauldron. I like that. Yeah. And it's named after Viking Prince Brecken.
Yeah, cool.
Apparently he perished there, proving his devotion to the daughter of the Lord of the Isles.
That's a fucking silly way to prove your devotion.
Yeah, Vikings.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I agree. I wish I hadn't added the drop. Again, it's a sacrifice that I willingly took for our listeners, and I hope they appreciate it.
It's coming out a bit more now, I think.
Yeah, and it is, there's a wider range of spices there, so, there's, you're right, star anise. I want to say cardamom again. I think I'm right, but I'm not sure.
Sweetness is lingering nice, though. That's
It is, but it's been split.
Where it gets it from.
Like, it's been, the sweetness has been split.
Yeah. And geez, this thing's got some awards too. I'm not going to go through it, but it's more awarded than the Uigedail is.
Yeah, I think it's won like the World Whisky Awards. Like it won gold a couple of years in a row.
Yeah, same at the San Francisco World Spirits. It's got awards for days. For days, mate.
Days. I'm fucking keen for this Arnoa.
Yeah, I think we should possibly move on.
Yeah, I think we should definitely move on. We ruined that whiskey.
So the Arnoa.
Oh
my god.
This is a first for both of us. We're pretty fucking excited.
Oh,
wow.
The light, delicate sweet compared to the Corryvreckan, that the sweetness is
and that is
more sugary.
And there's sea and salt in that as well. There's
I think it's the PX sherry. There's that light sweetness.
Yep.
Much more like your Class A cherry kind of.
And the wood's coming through on this a lot more as well.
I'm struggling with that part.
And this is a there's 3 different types of wood in here, isn't there?
Yeah, the PX
the
Virgin.
new charred oak.
Yeah, PX Virgin and ex-bourbon.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they source their ex-bourbon from.
But that's far more complex on the nose than the first 2. But again, really well balanced. Like it smells smooth. It smells like an aged whiskey. It doesn't smell like a Nass. It doesn't smell sharp. There isn't that bite, that sting on the nose that so many no age statements have. Yeah, that's delightful on the nose. No, there's a slight robe on it.
Actually, yeah, that's quite odd, isn't it? Mine's all speckled. Is yours as well? Hopefully that's not the glass.
No, mine's not speckled.
Okay, no, it's not now that I've spoiled.
But yeah, the robe. Yeah, there's a nice robe on it actually.
Actually, yeah, it's quite thick. That's gravity defying. Actually,
yeah, I'm getting nice streaks.
Time,
nice streaks on the glass. Yeah, a little bit of speckle up the top, but I think it beads because you're seeing those streaks.
Yeah. So Arnoa is named after the Malabar on the southwest of Islay, which offers the Kildalton coast a little bit of protection from the Atlantic when it decides to get turbulent.
And I reckon it would decide to get turbulent fucking often.
Man, at that latitude and that kind of the frigid temperatures, like apparently the temperature fluctuation on Islay is in winter, I think it gets down to about 4. In summer, it gets up to about 15.
Yeah,
probably,
right.
Give or take. You'd probably have gnarly days minus
Yeah.
-5, and you'd probably have some balmy days like low 20s. But it's pretty consistent. It's actually an ideal spot to age.
Yeah, because you wouldn't lose a lot to the angel share.
Exactly, yeah. So it's meant to show more of an approachable side to Ardbeg. And they claim that it's as rounded as the Oa Peninsula.
Yeah, it smells accessible.
Oh, does it what?
Yeah.
And what's this? I think this is a bit more tame. Yeah, we're back down to 46.6.
Yep.
So it's in line with the 10 and most other stuff that they release.
Oh yeah, that's a lot more rounded on the palate.
Mm. And being much younger, it's only been in the core range for the past 3 years. It's only had the chance to win one award, which was the silver in the Scotch Single Malt Islay category at the 29 International Wine and Spirits Competition.
It does feel somewhat younger on the tongue.
Okay. I haven't got there yet. I'm just loving the really light sweetness to it. There's like sort of almost icing sugar on the nose.
And that sweetness comes through on the palate too.
Yeah, does it look?
Like candy. You know, there's like a candy fruit.
Yeah. Yep.
Kind of feel on the palate. Like maybe a candied orange.
Yeah, I'll pay that. It's quite delicate. Like the peatiness is more prominent than the Corryvreckan and the Uigedail.
But it's still not what you expect compared to the 10, right? I mean the 10, so it's a slap in the face, a peaty slap in the face. Whereas this, you can tell with these that they've played with them to an extent. Like they've sought to go outside the normal bounds. It's there, and again there's spices there, but it's not aniseedy. More there's a bit of nuttiness about it, so maybe a touch of nutmeg.
Something where the sweetness lingers. I'm actually getting like the little gland pinch and a lot of saliva build up just because of this is very much a dessert whiskey.
It is sweeter than the others. This sounds fucking weird, and I might be well off course. This might just be a head game thing, but touch of basil, like a slight sweet, fresh pepperiness. Not that basil's particularly peppery. Maybe rocket.
It can be.
Maybe
rocket's kind of peppery. But I see what you mean by like the sweet basil. Yeah, there's definitely something.
Certainly not overwhelming. And again, it might just be my brain trying to make connections or misidentifying something, which I want to do. But fuck.
That is not disappointing.
Really nice. Like the amount of times...
Sensational purchase.
The amount of times we bought a bottle with super high expectations and they've just not quite lived up to it. It's been on at previous episodes and just... just day-to-day life.
That was left a bit to be desired.
But it is so nice to... for something to fit. I mean, it fits the core range really well. It's very different. Don't get me wrong, it's very different to both these other whiskies. Yeah. But it fits the core range. And for a fucking core range of NAS, and which is, again, brilliant marketing. I mean, for a small distillery with much less the capacity of so many other distilleries, but to have such a big market share. Like, you don't walk into a bottle shop in Australia where they don't have a bottle of Ardbeg, right?
Yeah, they bloody well should.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I've walked into Liquorlands and they haven't had Lagavulin, and I've nearly shat my pants having a tantrum. Our supplier doesn't fucking supply. What the fuck? Don't give me your excuses. Find a bottle out the back, you pricks. But for a distillery that has less weight than a lot of other distilleries, it is a brilliant choice to bring out a core NAS range.
Yeah.
Because it's so much, well, not easier, but they're able to be so much more consistent. Yeah, I mean, the 10-year-old is a fantastic whiskey, and at times it has been a first pour.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's one of those whiskies
that actually that's what I have in my decanter, actually.
Yeah. Well, same. Yeah. I keep Ardbeg in my decanter as well, and it's a beautifully unassuming whiskey. The 10-year-old. I know that's not part of what we're doing, but the paleness of the 10 is so non-indicative of what you get when you put it in your mouth. And I love watching people's faces when you pour them a dram of the 10 and they go, whoa, wow, what the fuck is that? And you go, that, my friend, is glory.
That's more positive reaction than that I'm used to receiving. Is this fucking whiskey?
As I say, I try and choose whiskies to the people, and I do tend to have a fair few people come through that joint, for some reason or another. There's, and I've had a lot of housemates over the years and things like that as well. So, and me, like, I'd make a good drug dealer. Like, I'm constantly pushing my product on people. Anyone that walks in my door, and
like you said, it's the collection is basically in the foyer.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I my housemate, bless her, has friends come over every now and then, and I'm constantly pushing whiskey on them. I don't like drinking alone. I like drinking whiskey.
Well, so you're not an alcoholic if you're not drinking alone.
Exactly. And I don't consider myself an alcoholic by any stretch of the word, but I love a whiskey. And by having someone there to drink whiskey with, it gives me the opportunity to feel not bad about drinking whiskey. Whereas every time I pour myself a dram and I'm by myself, it's like there's a little part in the back of my mind that goes, "But dude, when was your last whiskey?" It's okay. It wasn't yesterday. But this is really, and I agree. It's really well rounded. It's really well balanced.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to add water to this either.
Look, I'm gonna. It's for the podcast.
No, we have to.
In saying that, I wouldn't add water to any of these if I was drinking them by myself after that initial time doing it. And as we always say to those listening and to those that are embarking, and no matter what stage, no matter what stage you're at in your whiskey journey.
I think we no longer need to talk down to people.
No, of course not. But no matter what stage you're at in your whiskey journey, I think you will always benefit from tasting any new whiskey without water and then adding the water. But you only need to fucking do it once, unless you prefer it with water, and that can happen sometimes. There have been.
So that movie was a quote. I was actually going to use it for the intro. It's an Irish movie. This bombs with his chick. It's an old one. She's like, put a little water in your whiskey. When I drink whiskey, I drink whiskey.
But I think anytime you open a bottle, if you prefer it, and there have been episodes where both of us have felt it's benefited from a drop. Yeah. But if it doesn't, there's no need to fucking keep adding water.
Yeah.
Try it once.
I just have with this, and this is that's killed a lot of that sweetness, which was what I was really enjoying about it. Right. It's really killed off that PX sherry, and now it's just could almost be a slightly sweeter version of the 10.
I've just picked up on something that I've done several times today because I'm enjoying it so much. You know how when you're really enjoying your whiskey, and sometimes you do it when you're not, but you have that mouthful and you swallow it straight away without swishing, and you get that instant regret. You're like, oh, fuck.
Get in my belly.
I'm going to have another sip. But don't rob yourselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, drink whiskey the way that you want to drink it, but enjoy.
Well, that's funny. That's my wife has really come around to Islay recently, and she had sort of a revelatory moment where she's like, "Oh, I think I understand how to drink this now." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh, you just have enough to sort of wet your mouth. You don't. It's not like drinking a bourbon and Coke or something." I'm like, "Yeah, now you get it." And she's like, "Yeah, now that, oh geez, what is that? Oh, I'm really starting to love the Islas. Like this is, you just need a little bit. It used to be so overwhelming at first."
Good on her.
Well done. This is why I'm married.
She's a top lady, real top lady. But I'm on a mission because so many people that I've come across and spoken about whiskey to have gone, gee, those smoky ones, I can't get my head around those. And I'm on a mission to change their minds. And, it's something that...
It's a noble mission to have.
And I've got a small collection now of people whose minds I've changed.
Converts.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Because at the end of the day,
as we said before, the Jews in that Glen Scotia won a lot of people around.
Oh, that Glen Scotia's fucking... In fact, I had one of the blokes that I was talking to the other day at work turned around and said, I want to buy myself a new bottle of whiskey, but I don't want to just concentrate on the peat. I know you've told me to, and I've tried a few and I really like them, but I'd like to explore other ranges. I want to spend $100. What should I do? And I went, okay, $100. Because I really remember the price of bottles. I really remember the price of them, but I just sat there and went, look, fuck it. You got to stop using price. As if you're going to spend $100, why not spend 120?
Yep.
So get yourself a bottle of Glen Scotia 15-year-old.
Yes.
And as we were talking,
Perfect.
He jumped online and he went, I can get that for $100 on this website. I went, fucking buy two.
Do it now.
Buy two. Because at the end of the day, this is one of those whiskies that no matter where you are from, and this is based on an admittedly small sample size, but there is no one I've given that whiskey to that hasn't genuinely enjoyed that whiskey.
It is remarkable though. That's, the only, and I'm not even sure it's missing, but for our flavour profile, if that was peated, my God, I wouldn't drink anything else, I don't think.
100%. Like the viscosity of it, the balance of it, the rewarding...
The buttery feel of it in your mouth. The shortbread,
a peated expression of it would be incredible. But in saying that, maybe it'd change it completely. Who knows? But
we're also not here to discuss Glen Scotia.
Correct. Sorry. We digress once again.
We were lost in reverie for a moment.
And it is 57% this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not this one, but that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just going back through, just nosing and sort of tasting, and the Uigedail I can really get the wood out of it now.
Oh, but we polluted it with that fucking water. Yeah, you're right. The wood really shines through.
The wood really sings, and the sort of the medicinal quality of the Corryvreckan really jumps out now.
Yes, absolutely. That's antiseptic, not lanolin kind of.
And I love the
difference between the two.
And the sherry sweetness is what's coming out for mine on the Anoa.
For me, it's the roundness and the balance.
It is very round, yeah.
That's and that's what they've gone for, and they've achieved it. They really have, and I think they probably needed to, because if they're going to add something to a NAS cool range, it needs to be different, and it needs to have something in its own right. And I think that they've exceeded my expectations.
So really can you give your expectations, or like the excession of expectations? Can you verbalize that as a figure?
You want numbers? All right.
I feel some fucking big numbers coming up.
Yeah, I can give you numbers. I can. I feel confident giving you numbers here.
They're all going to get around the same, I reckon.
Yeah, there's not a huge, because they're so different, but they're all within a solid range.
Oh yeah,
a real solid range.
Just tiny little deviations on a near perfect recipe.
And the problem is, and this is a problem that's only going to get worse for us as we do more episodes, because we're inevitably going to, scores are going to collide, right? Now the thing
that's fine.
Well, it is, but I mean, these are no age statements, and you know me, I love whiskies that have spent time in wood.
Yeah.
And without spending time in wood, I can't give them the big numbers that I would. I mean, fuck. Can you imagine if the Corryvreckan, which at the moment the Corryvreckan's my pick, right?
That was like 15
Can you
years
imagine a 15-year-old version of that? That'd be a 9.8, right? That'd be fucking right up there, right? But as a NAS, and knowing that it's a NAS, my brain, because I'm a cunt, immediately goes to, it would be so much better if it was this. And that's a poor way to judge whiskey. It's a poor way to judge whiskey. But, I'm going to give...
I'm like that with a lot of things. So you always think, okay, yeah, that's how you achieve perfection, if such a thing exists, is pointing out the flaws in something, or just knowing how something can be made better. Isn't that why, like, models of cars get better every year for that exact reason?
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's such a negative way to...
I think the Corrie gets my top slot.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hooked on this Anoir.
Yeah, right.
This is...
So for you, it's about the roundness.
Something exceptional. Yeah, that balance is just amazing. For a NAS, they're all fucking incredible.
They're all great. And Anoir gets my second spot.
There's not too much between the two.
And there isn't. And that's it. Like the Uigedail is going to take third for me, but there is such a tiny gap between the three of them.
And it's funny because actually no, Uigedail's ex-sherry. The port cask stuff is really floating my boat. Like that Bradia that you gave me for Christmas.
Oh yes, well that's why I chose it. I picked
my
whiskey for my man.
Nearly makes me cry thinking about it. Dude.
I picked my whiskey for my man.
Such a good job.
No, fuck yeah.
It's such a good job. I reckon your gift was better than my gift.
Well, look, I'm a bit of a meta person, right? I like to try and be clever, right? So if the things, I always have muchos multiple categories, right? So I know you love peat, I know you love fucking export. I also know that you love the distillery itself. I know you love the region, but at the same time, I had to choose between a NAS and a bunch of aged statements that may have been superior whiskies in that way, but simply the term "bro dear," meaning brother, for me, again, it's so all these little things go together, and that was a clear winner. If there'd been a 15-year-old version of it, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford it, but it fit all the categories that we put in front of each other, and it ticked extra ones that I didn't realize I had until I knew that there were options available. So it was a really good bottle to give you. Mm-hmm. No, and not only that, I expected it to be exceptional, and it was. It was an exceptional. It was an exceptional marriage of export with peat and fucking great whiskey. But getting back to the issue at hand, these I've given you my order. Mm-hmm. It is going to be Uigedail gets bronze.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at it that way anymore. But yeah, go.
Well, it's the only way I can. I don't like numbers. Well, that's not true. I love numbers, but it's. I have to give them. No, I don't. You're right. Look, I liked the Corryvreckan the most.
Yeah, sure, cool.
And it's going to get a 9.1.
Lovely.
Both the Arnoa and the Uigedail are going to get a 9 flat.
Okay, yeah, I was going to be pretty damn similar. At first, I was thinking 9.3 for the Anoa, but I think that's slightly generous. I was 9.2, and then 9.1 for the Corryvreckan and the Uigedail.
No, that fits.
Actually, no, a 9 for the Uigedail. I think No. I'll stay with the 9.1 because I really love the woodiness of the Uigedail. I can't believe that at 57% that has that rich toffee is so sweet and so smooth.
For the Corrie. That's why it gets the extra point. Yeah. That's why it gets it. Like that's fucking at 57%
that's ridiculous.
You can't tell that.
You cannot.
Like, that's why it gets top spot. Yep. These are three exceptional fucking no age statements.
Are they what?
They are three
for us to have NASs in nines. That's
like 100%. Yeah. Right? No other NAS is going to get a 9 straight up. Like these guys just got 15-year-old fucking 15-year-old point scores.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, but I'd rate these higher than the Travans, and that's 19.
Yeah, look, we'd have to revisit that. We had one dram of that, and it was after we'd had a few.
Well, it was after we'd just had a 28-year-old LaFleur.
Exactly, right? So fucking, but I have no problem putting these three NASs around that 9 mark. There's no other NAS that I've come across. Now, and admittedly, we drink whiskey differently in this setting. Slightly, not much. I mean, I think we're always critical and fucking exploratory about whiskey.
Well, this was just an extension of what we usually do anyway.
So. But we get to do this. We get to wank on a little bit more about it here because we're
and then we have to edit it out.
And no one, but no. Also, we're not boring anyone. Like if people are listening to it, they're choosing to listen to it.
They are.
Right? Whereas when we do this in public, you watch some of our friends' eyes glaze over.
Oh, you watch some of them too? Just go, really? You're getting all of this out of.
It
intrigues some people and it bores the
shit out of others. Yeah, but and that's okay. Fuck, you've got to have a range of friends. But I'm confident and happy giving all three of these NASs 9-ish. For
sure.
But the Corrie for me for being 57%, and I didn't want to add water to it. I've added water to 48% and thought it benefited.
Yeah.
These cunts have fucking nailed it with the way that they've bottled it, and straight up.
All right.
Let's see what Reb says.
Let's see. So, order of tasting. So start with Uigedail. A curious Ardbeg with a nose to die for.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's very pleasant on the nose. There's some tinkering. Please, guys, as the retaste is not better, regarding the finish may lift this to being a true classic. He's given 89. I don't understand that. I want to read that again. A curious Ardbeg with a nose to die for. Some tinkering, please, guys, as the retaste is not better, regarding the finish may lift this to being a true classic. Yeah, I'm not sure how to interpret.
I think sometimes he writes these after he's had a couple too many.
Oh, there we go. Okay, regarding the finish may lift this. Okay, so he wants a better finish, basically, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, nose 25, which is full points. Taste 22.
Yep.
What was F again?
Finish.
Oh yes, yeah, good on you. Finish 20. Yeah, so yeah, he's not happy with the finish, and I think B was balance.
Yes.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, look, I'm happy with that. 8.9, 9. Would you give 9.2 and 9.1?
Yeah.
That's good, because I like it when you score slightly over me, because it means I get to maintain my, I'm the harsh one.
Okay, Corryvreckan.
Self-serving, yes.
As famous writers, including the occasional genius film director, stand up wherever you are, my heroes, Powell and Pressburger. That was in brackets. Have no idea who those guys are.
No, but we'll check them out.
I'm not much of a film guy.
I'm going to check them out. I like film.
So, including the occasional genius film director, appear to be attracted to Corryvreckan, the third most violent whirlpool found in the world, and just off Islay to boot. I selected this as my 1500th whiskey tasted for the Historic Bible in 2009.
Fuck, 1500 fucking whiskeys. What a guy. This guy will die young of liver failure, and he's sacrificed his life for us for whiskey. Yeah. Bless him.
I'm so glad I did, because many have told me that they thought Blasdo ahead of this, which is Blasdo's Ardbeg's most lightly peated whiskey that they ever released. But it was just like a lot of anything that's not core. It was very limited.
Yeah.
To me, it's not even a contest. Currently, I have only a sample. Soon I shall have a bottle. I doubt if even the feared whirlpool is this deep and perplexing.
Yes.
96.5.
Fuck yes. Yep.
It is pretty special, man. I must admit.
It is. I couldn't go that big because it's NAS, but I understand why he did.
Mm. And then that brings us back to the Anawa, which I have to find. Are they in alphabetical?
Oh, I don't think I added water to the Anawa. I'm glad I didn't. Fuck you guys, I can't sacrifice every whiskey.
Okay, this is strange. I'd never say whoa if someone poured me an Anoa.
Right, no, hang on. He'd never say whoa or whoa.
No context. It's hard to get.
I reckon.
It's hard to get a tone through a book.
It is. Is that the only thing he's written though?
That sure is.
No shit.
Cryptic ass. 95.5.
Okay, so so I think context with the number is
Whoa,
he'd never say whoa.
Yeah,
It'd just keep pouring. It's like, you know what, say some people like my nan used to say when, and if it was really good, I would not fucking say when. I would wait for her to go, well, you can't have any more.
Yeah.
Fucking, if you're giving me the option, just keep fucking pouring. Just keep pouring.
As soon as the glass is full, slide your hand underneath. Some for now, some for later.
Wow. So
huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Admittedly, they're deserving, well deserving.
They are. Look, and I think, right, I mean, this guy makes a living out of this. You know, I think he is obliged to not inflate, because I don't think he does inflate. I really don't. I'm not saying that at all. But, no, fuck it. I think he's purely scientific in his ratings, whereas we're comparative in our ratings.
Yeah, we are. Actually, I do have a great quote from him.
That fucking Arnoa is great, but I just can't go past that Corry. I really can't. That Corryvreckan is fucking brilliant. God, I want a 15-year-old version of that. And that's the one I've saved too.
Well done.
Actually, I'll put a little water in it.
Here we go. So, a quote that the Rev has said in his guide in regards to the 10. To me, Ardbeg is, and always has been, the most complex malt on earth.
Wow.
I've been visiting the distillery for nearly 30 years, long before anybody had ever heard of Ardbeg.
Yep.
And because I have long regarded this as the finest distillery in the world, I actually try to handicap the sample to iron out any natural bias.
Wow. That's huge. But I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, honestly, I think they're a fantastic distillery. They're definitely one of my favourite distilleries.
For sure. I think they're doing everything right.
Oh, they really are.
Yeah.
They really are. They're ticking all boxes. I mean, I'd love a 16-year-old Ardbeg. You know, like a readily available, non-committee release, you know, aged, you know, thing. But, you know, I don't know if they're a big enough distillery to have that kind of thing, like a Lagavulin 16, where that's, you know, it's readily available. I don't know if they've got the stock or the capacity, but God, I'd love it. But I agree. I think they're an incredible distillery, and I think they create incredible whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, these guys will get another episode because we've got the Trey Barn, the Supernova, Grooves, Dram, you know, and all of these.
Actually, that'd be a good one. We should do Grooves and Dram.
Oh, look, because I love the Grooves. Like for no, it's it's the way that I've described it, but I'm sure I picked it up somewhere because I don't think I made it up. But it is the most intensely mellow whiskey that I've tried. The because it's red wine, ex-red wine.
Okay, right.
And it's like, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really fantastic.
Lovely.
Again, a no-age statement. But you know, the Corryvreckan for me here today, I tell you, that is just incredibly, incredibly good for a no-age statement. So I think it is possibly the best no-age statement I've tried.
Outstanding. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap that up.
Yeah, it's a good way to end before we start to fucking waffle on, because I have that tendency. You may have noticed it.
Hopefully you haven't. Hopefully I've edited it out.
Well, I was talking to you, but yes, I think you definitely noticed it.
I've got the brunt of it.
Whereas hopefully you prevented
I'll probably edit this out too.
Well,
I will leave us with a bit of a fun fact that,
good.
that Ardbeg inspired the Finnish composer of contemporary music. Here we go for some more butchering. Osmo Tapio Rahala to write the symphonic poem Ardbeg, the ultimate piece for orchestra in 2003.
Do we have that? Like, have
I'll
you got
find
a
it. I'll
sound bite
find
of
it,
that?
and it'll be playing over the top of this.
Yeah. That's a fucking great idea.
Sláinte, beautiful people.
Yeah, fucking A. Thank you for joining us. Sláinte Rick, Sláinte Ardbeg, and we'll see you guys next time, and who knows where we'll be there.